I'm back. Okay, so today I'm gonna take it back to Kern Valley and talk a little bit about what happened over there. There was this one specific officer who was always fucking with everyone. I mean, constantly. You know, he was tall, he was built, bulky, whatever. But basically, he thought his shit didn't stink. He looked at the guys like they were worthless. They didn't mean shit. And that's exactly the way he treated them. He would go after my husband quite a bit. You know, and my husband wouldn't talk shit back. Just stay quiet. He would take it. But of course, you know, like I was saying, of course, you know, he would voice it to me and let me know everything that was going on. And, you know, I would call over there. I would get on their ass about everything. And I was constantly writing them up. Especially that specific officer. Well, because we started writing people up, you know, standing up for him, standing up for other people, other officers there started talking shit, started coming at my husband sideways, trying to get him to screw up, you know. There was even one that specifically straight out told him, I hope you fuck up, because you're job security for me and my son. Well, fuck you, dude, because my husband's coming home. I don't give a fuck. Fuck you, your son, and your job. You guys are not doing your jobs anyway, so it is what it is, whatever. I don't care. There was a moment where my husband went to go take his medication, and while he was in the pill line, there was another officer who was standing to the right of him talking to another officer and called my husband a fucking dumbass. Alright, so my husband turns around, and at this point my husband's fucking fed up, right? So he turns around and he was like, excuse you, what the fuck did you just call me? And the officer shut up. I mean, quick, right? And my husband's like, yeah, that's what the fuck I thought. So he walks away, whatever, he goes back to his cell. A couple of days later, that officer's working that yard again, and that building too. So, you know, my husband runs into him again, and, you know, confronts him about it. And he's like, what the fuck did I do to you? What the fuck's your problem with me? You know, I'm on my own. I don't fuck with no one. I'm not in y'all's business. Stay the fuck out of mine. Let me do me so I can go home. Right? So my husband tells me this, and of course I write him up. So he starts coming at my husband more and more and more, right? And then once they find out, okay, my husband's getting his fucking pardon, you know, and he's got the chance to go home, they start saying that, oh, you know, we're gonna take you out in the van, we're gonna beat the shit out of you, nobody's gonna fucking know, we're just gonna drive around the building outside, you know, and when we're done with you, we're just gonna fucking dump you there. Alright, bet. Now these officers there are well known for doing that shit. They will cuff these guys up, put them in the van, drive around while they take turns beating the shit out of them in the van. And nobody says a goddamn thing. Nobody does a damn thing. You know, everybody else that works there, you know, if there is anyone else that works there who has a heart, is too fucking scared to do anything about it. So I start doing what I can do to get my husband out of there. And the goal was to get my husband transferred to Donovan, right? But then they came and they told my husband, you know, well, you're endorsed to Donovan, but you're also endorsed to LAC. We'll see where you end. They told him, we'll see where you end up. Well, of course, they didn't send him to Donovan. They sent him to LAC. And at the time, my husband had heard that LAC was better. However, I can honestly say that out of every prison that we've been to, LAC is the worst. And at that time, we thought Kern Valley was the worst. Hell no. There's not one prison that is as bad as LAC. I mean, from the warden all the way down to the officers, even the medical staff. Fucking horrible. None of them give a shit. They don't do their jobs. You know, they do what they want. They make up their own fucking rules and they walk all over everybody. So, okay, back to Kern Valley. My bad. So this was during COVID, right? Me and our daughter go to visit him, and we were required to do rapid COVID tests before being processed. And there was 2 nurses there doing the tests on everybody. And when it was our turn to go up, I can't even remember what I asked the nurse. I asked her something, and she told me, she was like, okay, you know, hold on. So she turns around and she walks over to the processing desk. She asked them my question. She came back. She gave me the answer. But when she gave me the answer, she was looking off to the side like, you know, hint, hint, this is what, not coming from me, it's coming from them. And I think it's fucked up too. But at the same time, it was like, you know, I'm not going to say shit because I'm scared of what they're going to do to me. And that was the very first time that I realized, God damn, even these nurses are fucking scared of these cops. These cops run them like fucking slaves. You know, they have them wrapped around their fucking finger because nobody wants to lose their check. You know, that's how they support their families. And I understand that, you know, and working for CDC, once your name is soiled, like, that's it. You know, even if you go work somewhere else afterwards, you're going to be known for the shit that happened at CDCR, no matter what prison you're at. There was also a clinician. She was a mental health clinician. She was working there at Kern Valley, and she happened to be my husband's mental health clinician at that time. Well, I can't remember if she was walking her dog while she was running or jogging, whatever, and apparently the dog couldn't keep up with her. She didn't realize what was going on because, you know, she had on her earbuds while she's running. And it was a small dog, little dog, right? Very light little dog. And she didn't realize that she was dragging the dog. Somebody saw this, called the authorities on her, reported her. You know, she got in trouble, of course. She went back to work, but then everyone at Kern Valley found out what had happened. So they started shaming her for it, you know, constantly coming at her about it. They even filed animal cruelty charges against her, and she lost her job. She's no longer able to work for CDCR. And she was a wonderful clinician. She was one of the very few who actually gave a damn, who actually did their job, and who actually really wanted to help these guys. But that's how dirty her own co-workers did her. That's how they do each other. You know, they don't give a damn. It's, you know, number one, that's it. Either you're on their team or you're in their way. So they have this code of silence where no officers tell on the other officers because, they'll come after you if you do. And, like I previously mentioned in the first video, they've got these correctional officer gangs. And, they even do this shit to each other, because there's been, officers who have tried to bring them down, who have reported it and everything, and they've been framed. They've been hazed, bullied, threatened, that these other officers were going to go after their families, things of that nature, and it's gone to the point where a few of them unfortunately either overdosed trying to deal with all the shit that they were going through, or straight out committed suicide. That is how fucked up CDCR is. And administration is just as bad. They don't give a damn about anyone or anything but their fucking checks. Okay, so back to Kern Valley. There was also a guy there who could not speak, had a lot of mental issues, and my husband would talk to him every once in a while, if he saw, that the guy looked like he was feeling down. The guy could understand you, he just couldn't speak. So there was a bunch of officers there who were constantly clowning on that guy. The more mental health problems you have, the harder they make it for you. This guy, like I said, had major mental health issues, and I believe, if I remember correctly, they were trying to give him a shot, and he hit the nurse. Of course, he didn't want to get the shot, but again, unable to speak for himself, I guess he didn't know what else to do, so he hit the nurse. Mind you, he did not hurt her in any way. He didn't cause her any harm, but he did hit her. So these cops pick him up, cuff him, drag him out of the building, and my husband can see this from his cell window. They pick the guy up, and the nurses are standing there watching this entire thing, right? And they're laughing. And then the cops drop him straight on his fucking head onto the cement. Even after that, the nurses are still standing there laughing like it's a fucking joke. Unfortunately, I do not know what happened to the guy after that. I really hope that he is okay, and I really hope that his family did find out about that and were able to do something about it. There's just so much shit that is wrong everywhere, and it's not just these prisons, it's all of them. There was also another incident at Kern Valley where a guy also said, that he was suicidal. He told the cops that he was suicidal. They didn't want to listen. They didn't put him on suicide watch either. So the guy hung himself in his cell. And my husband and everyone else are in the day room, right? And they yell to my husband to look inside that cell because somebody was walking by and saw it. My husband goes over there, sees the guy hanging there, gets the guy down, he was hanging with a sheet, takes him down, puts him on his side, makes sure that he's still breathing, and runs out of the cell to get help. Again, these cops were in no fucking hurry to help him. And it's fucked up because the inmates are the ones who actually care. the cops don't. And these are the people that we're supposed to trust with our loved ones, you know, to serve and protect. I get that it's corrections, but it's corrections and rehabilitation. They don't allow these guys to rehabilitate. They don't. There was a few other guys there that my husband and some other inmates saved from committing suicide also. There was a couple of instances where these guys were attacked by the officers themselves, and because they had JPay tablets at the time, some of them were able to tell their loved ones, and we were able to get those guys' names and information and help file reports on their behalf. A few of them were able to file lawsuits, and they won those lawsuits also. Good for them, right? But even when you win those lawsuits, it's a small victory, because they're still stuck in there. You know, these prisons will not let go. They have a death grip hold on them, and they refuse to even loosen that grip a little bit. They make them constantly jump through hoops, and it's fucking sad. It really is. There was another incident at KERN Valley where they handcuffed one of the inmates, dragged him out of his cell into the day room, and tased him, beat the living shit out of him while he was cuffed, so he couldn't defend himself or even cover his face. Then from about 2 or 3 feet away, shot him in the fucking head, like forehead, with the rubber bullets. They could have killed him. They really could have killed him. Thankfully, he didn't die. He was able to also file a lawsuit, and he won that lawsuit too. Where he ended up after that, I'm not sure, but I really hope that he is okay. All of this is shit that my husband saw happen there. And you know, most people don't fucking think that it affects these guys. It does. They see this shit every day, and it gives them PTSD. It gives them depression. It gives them anxiety. And it just makes it that much fucking harder for them to do their time in there. Especially if they don't have a family, they don't have loved ones, they don't have anyone who gives a damn about them either. So, I mean, there's only so much that we can do, but there's also the fact that people are so scared to do anything. People are so scared to even try to do anything at all because they're afraid of retaliation. They are afraid not only of the retaliation on their loved ones, but they're afraid of retaliation on themselves. Because if they go to visit their loved ones after this, their visits will be taken away, they'll be harassed, their visits are cut short. You know, they're treated like shit. In visiting, the officers will talk to their loved ones like they're fucking dirt. It's horrible. It really is. You know, and for us also, you know, that we have to sit there and endure this and watch it happen. And we can't just, you know, take our loved ones home with us. It makes it hard for us. And it makes it hard for them too, that, you know, they're thinking, damn, like, how fucking embarrassing that they're doing this shit to me in front of everyone and in front of my family too. You know, my family's hurting because of what they're doing to me, and I can't do shit about it. Because if I do something about it, I get more time. If I don't do something about it also, I'm looked at as a wuss. You know, a fucking lame, because I didn't do shit about it. They'll go around and they'll talk shit about you. They'll make shit up and fucking ruin your character. And it's fucked up. It really is. Because once they do that, it will follow you from prison to prison to prison. Sometimes that shit will follow you even after prison. And it's not something to easily bounce back from. Can it happen? Yeah. I mean, it's completely possible. It takes a lot of work though, and possibly, like I said, catching another case. And when you don't want to do that because all you want to do is go home, it makes doing your time damn near fucking impossible. Because at that point, it's a catch-22. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. You're cornered basically by these cops. Your back's up against the wall, and like I tell my husband, what happens to a wild animal when that happens to them? They bite and they fight back. And that's what we try to avoid happening, because, you know, we need our loved ones home just as much as they need us. Not all of them have children. Some of them do. Some of them just have their parents. Some of them just have their siblings. I mean, it's different for every person. The point of the matter is, a lot of them are better off out here than in there. They're not able to rehabilitate in there, but if they were out here, they could get into a rehabilitation and actually make progress and not go back. You know, it's not the same for everyone, because some of them are so used to that fucking lifestyle that even when they get out, they go and they fuck up so that they can go back, because that's all they know. That's all they've ever known. And because of those, the rest of them are judged. Like, oh no, once they get out, they're gonna fuck up, they're gonna be back, so we might as well just not let them out at all. That's why they make it fucking impossible for them to get out. They want you to get your GED or diploma. They want you to take college courses. They want you to go to all kinds of groups and classes. They want you to learn a trade or a skill before you get out. You know, it's not just, oh, I'm gonna do my time and then I get to go home. No, you could do your time, and once your date comes, if you haven't done the rest of that shit, California is not going to send your ass home. They're not. They're gonna say, nope, you're not ready. We're gonna deny your parole 3, 5, 7, 10 years. And then you're fucked again. Sitting there putting up with the same bullshit day after day, and your family's suffering too, and CDCR is fucking laughing at everybody. Governor Newsom doesn't give a shit. Attorney General Bonta doesn't give a shit. And those two are the main ones who can actually fucking do something about all this crap, but don't bother to. I honestly wish that everyone would come together and get shit done. But, you know, if it's only a few of us speaking up, it's not going to happen. It's strength in numbers. So, even at the risk of, you know, being retaliated on, you still have to look at the bigger picture of, is it worth saying something and making a change, not just for your loved one, but for everyone else, all the other families too? Or do you sit back, stay quiet, not say anything at all, let it happen, and then you're just as guilty as the people fucking doing it because you allowed it. You kept your mouth shut. You know, it's like we're enabling them when we don't say shit about it. People need to speak up. If not, it's going to continue. So from Kern Valley, you know, we got his part in there. They kicked him out of there and sent him to Lancaster. And the hell continued from there. I talked a bit about Lancaster in my first video. Mainly about Lancaster, to be honest. So the next one, we'll talk about CSP Sacramento and the bullshit they do there. If anyone has something that they want to say, a story they want to tell, feel free to send me an email with an audio file if you don't want to do a video. Even if you send me a video, I will blur your face out. Please don't use names at all. You know, it's good to get your story out there. It's good to, you know, be your loved one's voice, but we do have to be very careful too. Even without saying names and putting all of this out there, it will make a difference. It really will. But like I said, it's strength and power in numbers. We have to have more power than they do. And if we don't take it, then what's going to happen? So go ahead and email me if you want to. I'll post it. I'll share it. Please share the page, share the videos. Let everyone know. Put it out there as much as you can. Let's make a change. Let's make it happen. Like I tell my husband, make it happen, Captain. You know, don't try. Actually do it. Because I hear women all the time bitch and complain constantly, but they don't do anything about it. They won't even file a report. They won't file a citizen's complaint. They won't do a goddamn thing about it. So if you're going to complain about something, do something. You know, not to be a bitch, but I mean, come on. That's the way it should be. Once again, share the page, share the videos. Feel free to email me. Do whatever you feel is right for you. But again, you know, change doesn't happen just on its own. I'll make another video tomorrow, tell you guys a bit more. Not just our story, but other people's stories too.